Okay, so that's a very good question. So Molly basically asked if this is how you treat people, if you're treating people from a Tomer Devorah kind of perspective, are you going to get treated the same way back? And so a few things. Number one, we want to get out of the mindset of what we give in order to receive. We want to get out of that. Like what you give because you're a giver. Because being a giver is being godly. Because being a giver is something that is a higher level that you look up to. You see that as something in and of itself. The attribute in and of itself is what you look up to. What you see as something that you want to become. You understand that kind of reality of living through life, being a giver as opposed to being a taker, who I can take from, who I can receive from, where I can enjoy from, who can help me, please me, give me a good time. Then when you come to life from a place of where can I see the person? How can I put a smile on that person's face? How can I make that person feel like $1,000,000? How can I make that person want to wake up the next morning and say, hey, life is not so bad? Where can I fill in the holes for people? What happens is that you automatically, you train yourself, you become a person that is a giver. When you are a giver, your energy around you, okay, you have to know that every person creates an energy to them. Every person creates their own energy, okay? And sometimes, some days your energy could be amazing and on fire, and some days your energy could be below the earth. It could just be terrible. Why? Because a lot of it has to do with what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what you're doing. And when we put ourselves consistently, we force ourselves, okay, to be in a position where I'm giving, where I'm extending, where I'm sharing, where I'm kind, where I see the person acting obnoxious and I'm able to still say, I'm not going to go down to their level in reacting to them in an obnoxious way. They're being obnoxious, they're being mean, they're being bratty, they're being whatever, selfish. I'm not going to go down to that level. I'm going to stay giver. I'm going to stay kind. I'm going to stay compassionate. It could be that I have to take space from this person. It could be that this person's not a healthy person for me to be around. It could be that this person, it's not the right place for me. And if it's hard for you to stay out of harm's way, but when you make your energy, the energy to you is an energy of where can I give? Where can I do? How can I help? Who can I put a smile on their face? Where can I be honest? Then that's the energy you put out, the energy you get back. Always. We only interact, our life will only set us, okay, all of us can have the same exact life, let's say, with the same exact people, same exact interactions, and each one of us will see it in a different way, from a different angle, experience the person. You could be, that person could be highly annoying to you and like super cute to me. Because reality is not objective, it's subjective to how you grew up, subjective to what certain things mean to you. Where a person can go like that with their eyes, and that because you grew up with a mother that gave you the cold shoulder all the time, and she made those eyes at you, okay, like she's rolling her eyes or looking away from you or whatever, then now you interpret every person, every girl that you meet in your life, to if she does that, she's a snob, or she's cold, or she's selfish, or she's aloof. And to me, because I've never had experience with that, I've never struggled with that, I've never experienced that, didn't register as traumatic or triggering or anything like that, doesn't affect me. So the reality is very subjective to my way of interacting with it. And the way I interact with it is what I'm going to keep bringing forth into my life. So how you interact is what you end up pulling in, creating in your life. So if you're coming from a place of giving, from going to the hospital once a week and, volunteering a few hours to feed people and to give people hot coffee, or you're going to, to be mavir on your midos and not say that word and not, look at her that way, or not, react from a knee-jerk reaction, what happens to you is that that becomes your energy. And when it becomes your energy. Imagine like highways, your energy is highways. And the highways that you end up creating, the places you end up going are the places that you're going to end up experiencing, the things that you're going to end up experiencing. Right? You take people that are, let's say, more of like the survival mechanism, like they grew up on survival mode, and everything was like, you have to there's no money ever, and you can't spend, and you can't, oftentimes, and I speak a lot to these women because I life coach, oftentimes there's a very interesting thing I learned in life coaching school. And this, after I learned it, I was like, OMG, I could not believe it. I remember, I walked out of it was in Tel Aviv, and I took out my phone and I made a video because I couldn't believe that this really is. And this is what it is. What it is that they took a bunch of fleas, and they did an experiment on fleas, and they put these fleas in a glass bottle, like this big, this high, and these fleas were like high jumping fleas. They were they jump really high, okay? They have like the ability to jump like crazy. Okay, they have something I don't know, like they jump like crazy, okay? But they put them in a container, a glass container. The top of the glass container was glass, right? And these fleas, every time they would jump in the container, they would hit their heads on the top of the glass container, and then they would fall. And what they recognized, what they saw after a while, was that they jumped with all their might, and then they would hit the top of their heads on top of the bottle, the glass container, and then would fall. And the next jumps, they jumped a little lower and a little less intensely and a little less because they were scared to hit their head and scared to hit their head and scared to hit their head till they would jump just underneath the glass. They would just jump right underneath where before they would hit their heads. They would jump till then and jump down, till there and jump down, till there and jump down. What did they do? They took the glass bottle off of them and they left them without the glass bottle. And guess what they did?
The same thing.
What?
They jumped the same amount.
How? How much?
Just under the glass, where it would have been.
Yeah. They jumped up until the glass ceiling, and they jumped down. Up until the glass ceiling, but they're free now. There's no glass. And they still jump until the glass ceiling. Why? Because what happens to the mind, even to a flea's mind, is where you keep getting hit over and over and over again, you learn to avoid. So what happens when you grow up in a way where where you've hit glass ceilings, oftentimes, where your interactions, the people around you, things were not so healthy, things were not so well, things were not so functioning, things were dysfunctional or whatever it was, you learn, this is what relationships looks like. So I can jump this far. This is how far I jump. This is how far I jump. Why? In order not to get hurt, in order not to hit my head, in order not to... So I avoid living a great life. I live a very small life. I live a very small life. I just do the things that are within my comfort zone to do. And the comfort zone is the glass ceiling. What creates this comfort zone? Here I don't get hurt. Here I'm not vulnerable. Here no one can come in, no one can go. Here I'm safe. This is what I always done. This is what I'm going to continue to do. That's why people love their habits. People love their habits is because this is who I am. It defines them. And when we let go of our habits, all of a sudden we have to have new self-definition, and it's scary. And that's open for translation, and that can get scary. Who am I? In the moment of not knowing who you are, leaving your certainty and having those moments of uncertainty before you become more certain about something else that you are, those moments is where we really, really grow. That's why Hashem tells Abraham, Lech lecha, and leave everything that you know behind, leave everything that defines you behind, and go someplace else. And in the process, where am I going, God? He doesn't tell him. He doesn't ask. But he doesn't tell him. And because the process, where you're going doesn't matter. What happens to you on the way is what's going to matter. We always want to latch onto something. I come from this family. This is what I do. These are my habits. This is my rituals. This is what I'm about. We love these things that define us and put us in these, this is my job. This is how I make my money. This is my father. This is my husband. These are the things that define me. This is how many kids I have. This is the house I live in. This is the groups I'm a part of. This is what I'm into. All these things are definition. All these definitions, what they end up doing is they give us sort of like a space, like a containment for ourselves. And then when we lose one of those things, when one of those things moves, a boyfriend, a job, something that we're familiar with and we know that's there, that defines me, gives me some self-definition, and that moves, all of a sudden I'm shaky, all of a sudden I'm vulnerable, all of a sudden I feel raw, all of a sudden I feel exposed, all of a sudden I feel like I don't know who I am, all of a sudden I feel alone, all of a sudden I feel, someone save me. I try to grab onto another guy, try to grab onto another job, try to grab onto another thing that'll give me self-definition. That's what codependent is, in essence. And Hashem says, Lech lecha, which is, and this is not a shir and parsha, but that's the message of Lech lecha, leave for yourself, leave in order to become yourself, leave this stuff in order to really find who you are. Because all the things that define us also encage us and enslave us. So what happens is that if I can be in this space of not saying this is what I do or this is what I don't do. Challenge what I don't do. Challenge myself. What's uncomfortable for me? Let me think. Sitting in a restaurant by yourself and eating a bowl of salad, is that uncomfortable for you? That someone might see you, or that's weird, or being in your space by yourself? Challenge yourself. Go sit in a restaurant by yourself and eat ice cream. You love that. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself is allowing someone to see the real you and share something that's really on your mind. That could be a little awkward, could be a little vulnerable, could be a little bit exposing, and that's something that you wouldn't do because you're so careful with being safe all the time, right? Challenge yourself, right? The why is it so good to challenging yourself? 'Cause that's when we find ourselves. That's where we actually find ourselves, and that's where we feel most alive. Not in the safety, in the lech lecha. And the leaving my home, leaving my father, leaving my friends, leaving everything I know, leaving all my certainty, and then going to a place where I don't know anyone, to a foreign land, to a place where I don't know where I am, and in those moments where I don't know and I'm uncertain and I just love my safety, I just love my safety net and I'm going to somewhere I don't have a safety net yet, in those moments that's where you grow. In those moments that's where you developed. In the years that I've been single, I think that I've done so much work that it's like because of the discomfort and because of the unsafety. Because as you have no option but to swim. And when you swim, you find new strength. You find new character inside of you. How did we get this? How do we get to this? Hashem, only God knows how we got here.
Molly asked a question.
Right. So yeah, exactly. What you put back, you put out, you get back. That's basically what you are. Just your number one priority here. You're just number one because you're constantly pouring into yourself lessons and ideas and teachings that you want to embody and become. Like react that way, respond that way. When you're in the face of someone angry, someone obnoxious, someone selfish, you don't want to go down to their level. Bless you. And the only way to really do that is by practicing that, learning that, being that, faking it till you make it. Right? Not having a knee-jerk reaction in the face of someone, talking lashon hara, or not having a knee-jerk reaction. Having a godly reaction. Someone is being obnoxious, and Hashem, when we are being obnoxious to Hashem is kind to us. He understands us. He's patient with us. He knows where we're coming from. He knows that we woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or he knows that someone triggered us so deeply, and he knows that something happened. He knows. So he gives us another day, and he gives us more patience and more time. He doesn't judge us. And if we do tshuva that night, the sin doesn't even exist. He doesn't judge you right away for the sins that you do at all. And then he gives us Yom Kippur where most of it gets erased. He doesn't judge you for most of the majority of the things that you're going to do until you die. You don't get judged for it. That's why it's so important to do tshuva before you die. That's number one. And number two, it says that Hashem is so kind that even the act of dying is mechaper for like a ton of averos. The act of actually leaving the world, it deletes a ton of averos. Because he's not out there to get us. Yeah. Got you. You really are selfish. I see. I knew it all along. You were not a real friend. You were just looking to get information out of me. That's the fear inside of us that's scared that, oh my gosh, I opened up so much to this person and I shared so much with this person, now I see a different color, so now I'm so scared that this person is going to use that or hurt me, or because I'm open to this person, I'm connected to this person, I love this person, I need this person, so now I'm going to put up a wall and I'm going to just say, oh, that person is really X, Y, and Z in order to keep myself safe from being vulnerable again with this person. And because where I'm vulnerable, that's where I feel most myself, and that's where I feel like I'm growing the most, and that's where I'm touching life the most. Not where I'm safe and secure and controlling, so I don't get hurt. And that's why Tomer Devorah is so crazy, because it's like it expects us to like, oh, you spin my face, oh, let me wipe that cheek. Here's another cheek. That's why Tomer Devorah is crazy, because it literally causes us to act like Hashem and not to act human. But that's what we would do with our kids anyway. We would act that way with our kids, hands down. So we have to act that way with all of Hashem's kids and all of our sisters and brothers. Oh, he's probably just having a hard day. Any questions?
Who wrote Tomer Devorah?
The Ramak of Moshe Cordovero, the Arizal's Rebbe. Yes. Okay. Have a good day. Now, really, have a great day.
We'll see you back in 5 minutes.